what's gonna happen when I finally lay this body down. Is there a heaven where family awaits me, where tears will never again be found? Or will I rise up as some other life form, with a chance to make things right this time? Well, I don't know. Maybe this is all we have, so we better take this chance to shine. Shine on, even in the darkest night. Shine on, even when you can't see the light. Shine on, shine strong, shine on. And I don't know why so many people seem to be angry all the time. It's like some dark cloud is hanging above us that won't allow the light of love to shine. There's so much violence, fear and hatred, way too much focus on what's mine. It's time we learned again to love one another and let the light that's in each of us shine. Shine on, even in the darkest night. Shine on, even when you can't see the light. Shine on, shine strong, shine Let your light shine into the night. Here, take my hand. Together we'll stand. Let your light shine into the night. Here, take my hand. Together we'll stand. Shine on, 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 shine on,
This is an Okie Doke production.
Warning. The Mighty Philbert is a wicked, deplorable man who is a horrible influence on children and most household pets. He curses like a sailor, smokes like a chimney, and his impure thoughts about anime characters. If you choose to continue watching or listening to this program, just remember, I warned you.
Hello, fellow heathens. My name is Philbert. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Mighty Philbert Show. It's the Mighty Philbert Show.
Hey everybody, I am the Mighty Philbert, and as you can see there, I am a horrible disappointment to my family. Anyway, tonight I am finally going to be joined by Mary, the Barker Bike Pirate, and we've been trying to get this together for a little while now, and I'm just excited to finally be able to talk to her. Let me see. Oh, hey Fred, how's it going? Good to see you. And Adrian will probably be in here in just a few minutes, I hope. And oh, she's here now. Okay. Hey, Adi, how's it going? And we should have some more filing in here in just a little bit. But let me go ahead and introduce you to Mary. So let me see if I can get this to work. Hey, there it is. Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you great. Okay.
Oh, nice. Is it better, you think, if I put my phone this way?
No.
Oh, it's the same for me. Okay.
Yeah, I tried that before when I was trying to do this live stream from my phone, and all it did was just make people have to go like that to see me. So,
Yeah, right. But I got little
Yeah.
wheels on the chair here. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Okay. But yeah,
I hope
you're
it's
loud
all
and
right.
clear.
I'm the Archbishop of Canterbury impersonator this evening.
Oh, yeah. Hey, PC, how's it going? Good to see you. And Fred, what'd you say? Says on the yeah, I try to make that clear. Yeah, I'm just a little Philbert. And Adrian says hi to everyone. Okay. All right. Well, Mary, I have been wanting to have you on for a while, ever since I saw one of your videos, and you were. Let me try to remember what was the first one I saw. I think you were camped out, probably in California somewhere, and you were talking about an encounter with Bigfoot, or what you hoped wasn't Bigfoot, right?
Oh, yes, the Sasquatch video. Yes.
Yeah.
Where
All
I
kinds of things.
discussed how I don't let my fear get away from me in the middle of the night out in the woods. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand that because, we used to go camping when I was a kid, and I was terrified most of the time because I do not like things like skunks. And, it seemed like they always were around and were always trying to chase me. And I hated that. I don't know what it was, but they just liked me for some reason. But anyway, for people in my audience who may not know you yet, just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and what drew you to your nomadic bicycle lifestyle.
All right. Well, I'm a 51-year-old mother of 2 girls and a grandmother of my 5-year-old who is fighting going to bed on the other side of the wall.
Right.
Let's see. I raised my 2 girls. I was married twice, but both times it was kind of with a guy that didn't like holding a job very well, kind of a little allergic to those things. So that didn't work out. So I kind of did things by myself. And then when empty nest happened to me, it was just me and my little chihuahua. And I felt like I didn't have an identity, a purpose. I just working at a Joe job. And I had always in the back of my mind, I had even told people I wanted to just drop everything and just start traveling. I don't care about money. I don't care about possessions. I don't even care about a roof over my head. I just want to do it. So April 17th, 2017, after taking about a month to get rid of literally all of my possessions, except for a couple boxes in storage, I left out from Buffalo, New York, still snow in the ground, with a Walmart backpack, a guitar, and my little dog. And I made it to the Pacific Ocean and back,
Wow.
to the Gulf of Mexico and back. Then I thought I got it out of my system. Came home, did the bricks and sticks, lived in an apartment, and I was back at a job I hated, to live in a slum apartment that I could afford. I didn't want to be there. One of the kicks in the ass was one of my classmates, same age as me. I haven't seen him since we graduated, but he died. He passed away. And it's just, life is so short. It is so
Yeah.
short. I was not happy living that way. So in 2019, I got the bicycle. The hitchhiking thing for a solo female, here and there with that. So I
Right.
got the bicycle. And so I've been on the bike ever since. One observation I'll tell you, if you show up in a town with a guitar, backpack, and a dog, every cop wants to have a conversation with you.
I
They will
bet. Yeah.
they'll threaten to lock you up
Wow.
just for sitting in the shade as the way you look. All I did was add a bicycle. I'm the same
Mm.
dirty nomad. All I did was add a bicycle. They're all my friends. And cops are good to me. They're angels on my shoulders, but change the look a little bit. It's
Right.
amazing how different society and police officers treat me with just a bicycle and not a thumb.
Right. Yeah. Let me real quick say hi to some more people here. We got Judy's here. Good day from Australia. Good day to you too. You live close to Fred? Fred's down there
That's my
somewhere in
friend.
Australia. Oh, that's your
That's
friend?
my
Okay,
friend
great.
Judy.
Yeah. Well, good to see you. And also, Skeptic Philosophy said he's going to be lurking around here. So good to see him too. And I think that's all that I hadn't already said something to. But Fred says that somebody has to be the Archbishop of Canterbury. He said interpreter. You said impersonator, didn't you? It might as well be you. Yeah.
Somebody.
And he
Somebody's got
said,
to
"Good
do it.
on you, valiant struggle." So good. All right. Well, Mary, your channel, it's called the Barker Bike Pirate, and you'd be surprised how hard that is for me to say sometimes, because I've been, trying to promote you, and I kept trying to say the Barker Biker Pirate, and I'm like, that's not right. It's just Bike Pirate. But it does have a distinct feel to it. Freedom, movement, reflection, storytelling. Uh, do you think life on the road changed the way you see yourself and the world? Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. You know how when you move out of your parents' house, you go away, you come back to visit how tiny it is? All the
Yeah.
rooms seem really small. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When I left out, and then, like I told you, I came back. I actually thought I got it out of my system and did the bricks and sticks for a while. When I came back, I couldn't believe the amount of confidence I had. I left out with $60 and a bag of weed, and I made it to the Pacific, all on my wits, with the help of
Wow.
kind strangers, people putting money in the guitar case, busking on the street corner. I
Hmm.
made it. I
Wow.
did that. Just me and my fellow man did that. And oh, it changed everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. You share a lot about your travels and your experiences and your videos there on your channel, and I'm just hooked on it. But this video you put out recently, this deconstruction video, at, I know that was just really raw and personal. And what made you decide, okay, I'm ready to talk about this out loud?
Um, for my own healing, uh, right now, as you know, I'm on hiatus off the road, and I won't be posting anything probably until I get back on the road, which might not be until next fall when the weather gets cold.
Right.
Um, for my own healing, I visited a friend in Mississippi. I was going to help her with her bed and breakfast, and then that kind of fell through. So I was just kind of in a cabin out in the middle of Mississippi, and I thought I would write about my travels. I sat down, couldn't think where to start. I'm like, well, let's just warm up. What was I thinking about this morning? I was having a conversation, and I began writing what it was I read on those videos. And it was incredibly uncomfortable. It was like it was just pouring out of me. And I write regular. My hand was swollen up. I could barely sleep. It was just like something needed to get out of me. And that went on for, I don't know, a week or two, just out there in the middle of nowhere, just me writing and writing. And I got that out of me. And I guess I'll mention what else happened when I was there. The friend I was staying with is a wonderful woman, but she's a Christian woman. That's fine. That's fine. I love her to death. She was concerned for me and wanted me to go see her pastor. And I think she kind of maybe misunderstood. The thing I was really upset about was not so much trying to figure out coming back to faith. It was more how it had affected family relations and some of the pain over that. But I agreed to go see her Baptist preacher, and it turned out to be absolutely wonderful. Because before in my life, I was amazing at apologetics. I could knock on your door and just tell you the whole thing. I sat down, and I'm so thankful for this guy. This pastor helped me so much, and I know he will not believe that he helped me, but he did. For 2 hours straight, we went through every apologetic that he could hit me with. I debunked them all. And he finally finished up with Pascal's wager, and I just sat there and okay. But it was like, okay, there is nothing that they can tell me that is going to convince me anymore. There isn't anything I missed, nothing that I missed. And it was just like a huge burden had come off of me in a sense of like vomiting up poison, you know? It's the best way to put it. I vomited up a bunch of poison, but I've been sitting on those writings for 2.5 years. And I always feel like I have to keep my mouth shut. If somebody is getting pushy with religion, I don't want to step on their toes. I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to cause an argument. So I will trample on my own feelings to let people force religion on me. Sometimes I do that. You know, I see a lot of it in the American South. Somebody wants to sit there and give me their shtick, and I'll sit there and put up with it. And
Oh yeah.
it was just me speaking up publicly. So it was mostly just for me, honestly. If somebody comes across that and it helps them, great. I just needed to say that and know that it's out there in the stratosphere somewhere, and it's not a secret I'm sitting on. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Definitely. Let's see. Okay, I thought I had another comment there for you. One of the things that struck me in your video was the early childhood memory you shared of the foolish frog story, and
Yeah.
yeah, the fear of hell being introduced so young to you. Looking back on that, what do you think that kind of message does to a child's nervous system and sense of self?
Oh, I know you're not supposed to use the R word on YouTube, so I'll say grape. But I think
Okay,
that is an appropriate adjective. It grapes their sense of self-worth before it can even be formed.
I agree. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And you talked about how young you were when guilt, fear, this idea of deserving hell was, planted in you, like we all were, through children's church, vacation, Bible school, whatever.
Hmm.
When you think back on who you were then as a little girl, what do you feel toward her now? I'm sorry.
No, no, this isn't good. Because this is just very recent for me that I can now answer this.
Mm,
Compassion. I wish I could have gone back and stood up for myself or rescued myself.
right.
So much compassion. And
Yeah.
that's a step in the right direction for me. I'm very hard on myself. I have unrelenting standards.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that poor little girl, I just was so sensitive. I just took it
Hmm.
all in and I just believed it. And I carried that guilt of murdering a man, not just
Mm,
murdering him, but crucifying him in a very graphic, gory way that they tell you about all the time in church. And I did that, and I felt that guilt for doing that.
right. That's something that I think we all heard. You're the one who nailed him there. It was your sins. It was all these things you did. And I remember just thinking as a kid, I was like, what did I do that was so bad? You know, um, I don't know. I mean, what I stretched the truth a little bit, or lied to my parents over something that wasn't even bad, just trying to stay out of trouble. You know, um, it's it's like you said. It's definitely um, like a grape, as you called it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, just
A
your total
constant
innocence is
sense of
gone.
shame.
Yeah, constant
That's it.
sense of shame. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. And you described salvation as, not really a free choice. You said it was more like being asked to choose with a gun to your head,
Right. That's coercion. But,
Yeah.
We're taught to reframe it as choice.
Right.
But that's not choice.
Yeah, you can become a Christian or you can go to hell. It's like
Yeah.
Sophie's choice almost. Um,
Right.
So when did you first begin to recognize that what you had been taught as love was actually coercion? Was it around this age with the frog story?
Early 40s.
Early 40s?
Right around the
Yeah,
time I
because
started.
so you were in for a while then. You stayed
Oh,
in
yeah, I
churches
was
for a
a
while.
major church musician and everything. Oh, my goodness, yes.
Right.
I started out having to sit on the Buffalo phone book to see the pastor on the piano bench. I was that little.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. It didn't come until late in life. And I had something happen to me that I don't need to go into. It's just an incredible crime against my family. And I was not equipped to handle it. And I turned on a dime, March 2004, to heavy daily drinking. It was nuts. And I struggled with that for 10 years of my life. And of course, that brings you to a rock bottom. And I remember I was in this rehab and one of the counselors was talking about, you have to see if I remember even. Oh yeah. He was saying alcoholism is a disease, not a choice. And I became enraged inside. And I says, oh, well, because it's a sin. And he's like, listen. And he said to me, your beliefs got you in that chair. It's time to start questioning things. And that stuck with me, but I didn't start questioning right away. It was a series of things. A lot of it was going out on the road and realizing, how can I tell the difference between God sending me somebody to put money in my guitar case or somebody just put money in my guitar case? Why do I need a middleman here? And then I found the book, The God Delusion. And it was like hitting those dominoes.
Yeah. Because you said, let me see if I can find this. You said that questions were technically allowed, but only if they led back to the approved answer. So,
Yes.
So that's, how common do you think that is in church culture? The appearance of inquiry without real freedom to question.
It's very common. And it's almost, I don't know, it's kind of born into us. Like, for instance, if I had a question back in church, I didn't consult a school teacher. I consulted the pastor. I consulted a Christian book. So it's all just self-reinforcing. So you don't even really realize what I said there, that you can question things and that's okay, but you have to arrive back at the approved beliefs. It wasn't like I was thinking that at the front of my mind back as a kid questioning. I just knew that, well, if the pastor said my conclusions are wrong, or my youth pastor says I'm not coming to the right conclusions, then I am wrong.
Right.
And a lot of times too, because they teach you not to trust in your own intellect, your own understanding. Surely these great men of God have it figured out, and I'm just not smart enough. So you just kind of accept.
Yeah, that was one of the memory verses I had to learn in Vacation Bible School, as a matter of fact, that trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not on your own
Not
understanding.
on their own understanding.
Yeah.
And all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Right, yeah.
Let us
I kind
pray.
of cheated. Do you remember a singer, Dion and the Belmonts and all that? He did Run
The
Around
oldies?
Sue and yeah.
Oh
He
yeah,
did
Runaway Sue, of course.
Yeah. Dion in the 70s, he became a Christian and started releasing a lot of Christian records, this Jesus music generation. And he had a song that was basically a scripture song to that, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not on your own understanding, all that. So,
Yeah.
So that helped me learn the memory verse because we had that album at home. So,
Yeah, that would
crazy
that would
stuff.
put music to it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now let's see. A lot of the story you told um, is shame, and you don't talk about shame just as an emotion, but almost as an operating system. So
Yeah.
when did you begin to realize that shame wasn't just something you felt, but it was something your belief system had kind of trained into you?
Hmm. Perhaps it was just a gradual realization, um, especially with the counseling that came along with what happened with my drinking is I got DWI charges and in a lot of trouble and court ordered, and I should have gotten in trouble. I could have killed somebody. I was a criminal. I deserved
Right.
my punishment. But they
Yeah.
also put you through a lot of counseling and stuff too. And that kind of started me out. But I wasn't even questioning my faith back then, really. But I was
Right.
noticing that shame, how big it was in me, and how I'm one of those annoying people, or at least I used to be. I hope I used to be, and I'm working on it. That everything they do. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's like me.
I bump into you. I'm sorry. Oh, it gets annoying. I annoy myself doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same way though, and I think it is just from the way we were raised with
Yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, my
Yeah, you
bad.
got to feel guilty about
Sorry for
everything.
insisting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Uh, well, could I just get you to share just a little bit of what you shared in your video? When it came to where you finally realized this doesn't add up anymore, and just kind of share that part with us a little bit.
um, I
As much as you're
honestly,
comfortable sharing.
well, no, it's not that. There really wasn't one moment. It was kind of a series of things. I do remember at the very beginning when I was talking about the very beginning of questioning that voice inside me, almost it would scream blasphemy. Oh, you can't even think that. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
Terror, utter terror. I never felt that until I started questioning. And it's one of the most terrifying things to face down. And
Oh yeah.
not only that fear of hell, it's also the fear of your own death. Now you don't have a backup system, heaven. Now you have to face the fear of your own death.
Right.
And nihilism. I'd add nihilism to that. Now you have to realize there is no inherent purpose to life. You have to kind of find one. You have to find
Hmm.
your own hope. And facing that down is very difficult. Very, very difficult. I totally understand why I would say the majority of people don't want to do it. And I don't blame
Hmm.
them. I don't blame
Yeah.
them. I understand why people cling to comforting delusions. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I
Um,
might have got off topic there.
Yeah, that's all right though, because not really, because we were still
Okay.
talking about all this. Um, but no, it's just some of the things you described in that deconstruction video was just powerful
Getting
to me.
warm.
Like,
Sorry.
oh, you're fine. Um,
Getting warm.
but yeah, it's like you were describing your fear is, you know, how fear was being presented as love, and control was being presented as choice. But was there a moment where that contradiction just finally, snapped into focus for you?
Um, Reading The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins.
Yeah.
Um, I say there was a lot of things snapping into place with that. And for a time back in the beginning, the Four Horsemen, I'm sure you know who they are. It
Right.
really helped me out to listen to their debates and point by point, because I already knew the other side. And a lot of times they would have debates with like William Lane Craig and people, the side that we already knew.
Yeah.
There was just moment after moment after moment of aha, 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 aha. Listening to those guys at the very beginning was very helpful for me, especially because it's I went through all the stages of grieving. When you lose your faith, it's grief, it's grieving. And the Four Horsemen, listening to them was good for the anger phase. I've been lied to, and you know, it served me very well to listen to a lot of Christopher Hitchens and Richard Dawkins back at the beginning phases.
Right. Yeah. And you talk about in your video there, you walk through several Bible stories. You talk about Job, Abraham, Isaac, Pharaoh. You even talked about hell and genocide, you know, in the Noah's Ark story. And you also asked some questions that I think many of us are taught not to ask, you know, when we were believers. And that is, like you said a while ago, it's dangerous when you start asking questions, because the church, they count on people just accepting everything, you know, that they say and not questioning them. It's a sin to question their authority, you know. But was there like one particular story in particular that just became impossible for you to excuse anymore?
Human sacrifice, the very thing that the good, there's another reframing of the good news is human sacrifice. What?
Right.
It's nuts when you think about it. It's absolutely, and we have crosses all over the place and crosses on our necklaces. That is a medieval Bronze Age torture device. It's very warped when it all finally becomes clear and the blinders start coming off. It's warped. It's unwholesome and definitely immoral.
Right. Yeah, it's I don't know, because you think about that. You look at Abraham, you know, when he was going to sacrifice Isaac, and basically God was like, prove you love me, that you love me more than anything else and anyone else, you know, sacrifice your kid. I mean, what kind of egomaniac is that, you know, to do that? And then, you know, he didn't ask Jephthah to sacrifice his daughter, but Jephthah promised he would sacrifice the first thing that came out of his house to greet him, you know, if God would give him his victory over his enemies. And it was his daughter. And he went through with that. And God did not stop it. You know, he stopped Abraham from sacrificing Isaac because he had plans for Isaac. Apparently he didn't have any plans for a girl, right? So
I was going to say it might have had to do with her
right?
being a female. Yeah.
Especially if you read the rest of the Old Testament, you know, and its opinions on women. But yeah, it's just these stories. And then, like you said, the only way to salvation is through human sacrifice. Without the shedding of blood, there is no remission of sins. It's like, you're God. You could have made this anything, you know. Why go with the blood thing? It's just ridiculous. But
and we gleefully sing about it in church. There's power in the blood. I mean, oh my goodness. Little kids were singing this stuff. It's so bloody. It's so barbaric.
Yeah. And it's, you got power in the blood. Are you washed in the blood? Goodness, nothing but the blood. There is a fountain filled with blood. I mean,
yes, I remember that one.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Everywhere. But yeah, it's I don't know. Such a bloody gospel. It's all blood magic. The whole salvation thing. You know, we'll shed some blood, we'll sprinkle a little bit of it here, and bam, you're clean of all sins. You know, you can go to heaven now. It's clearly blood magic.
But sometimes I think people think that, oh, well, you're just talking about Old Testament. Somehow the New Testament whitewashes it all. I would argue it makes it worse. It goes from animal sacrifice and now to God sacrificing his own self. And then as far as hell goes, I think Jesus talks about it more in the Bible than it's mentioned anywhere else. The lake of fire reserved for the devil and his angels, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Over and over, Jesus threatens that to people.
Yep. And he even says, you know, if you don't eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no part with me. You know?
Yes, or hate your family. Hate your own family for his sake. Otherwise, you're not worthy of him. That hurts a family, let me tell you.
It really does. It really does. And I had another question here I was wanting to ask you about something you said a while ago. Let's see, what was it? It was, you said that once you started asking, you're talking about talking to your pastor and things like that, and you had said in your video also, once you started asking pastors, um, asking them, what do you want me to think about the Bible verses, what you actually saw in the Bible, everything changed. Was that the real turning point there?
You mean when I started asking outside of the Bible in church? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all over the place today. I'm sorry.
Well, it's
But
because
yeah,
we're up past our bedtime, I said, remember?
I know. I know. I should have been in bed an hour ago,
I know I go to
but
bed at 8:30.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I
Okay.
said this late like this because usually there's nothing else going on, and I'm like, okay,
Right,
I
right,
can, yeah,
right,
and it
right,
makes it
right.
easier for people like Fred and probably your friend Judy, who are so far ahead of us.
Yeah.
This way it's not interfering with their schedules. So,
It might even be tomorrow for Judy. I don't know how the
oh
time
yeah,
works in the other side of the
yeah. I
world.
think I think Fred is on his lunch break right now, or would be if he had to work tomorrow. So he's
Cool.
off. Yeah, he's off, which is today there. So anyway, um, but yeah, so he's off on Sundays there. So this works out great for him. But if I try to do it Sunday night or earlier in the day, I'll be messing with his work schedule. So I don't want to do that because I like Fred all right, and a lot of the others who had that same issue. Um, Now I forgot what I was talking about, but
I remember. I remember.
okay.
When I started finally seeking outside of the prescribed answers for me.
Yes.
Yeah. That was another time, like reading The God Delusion when moments of clarity just started coming like crazy. And one of the main ones was, and I didn't go that deep into it, just kind of the basic, just understanding of basic evolutionary biology. I'm no scientist or anything, but if you just simply read the basics about it, I discovered this whole time the church was setting up a straw man argument to argue against it.
Wow.
And that it felt like a knife, honestly. If you have the truth, what are you lying for? What do you need a straw man argument for?
Right.
Why was the church lying to people? That was, come on, guys. That's how I felt. It hurt.
Yeah, because you even talked about in your video about the church's and apologists' straw man arguments and how the church had misrepresented science. Um, so how
Mm-hmm.
destabilizing was it to
And that
realize
led me
that?
like, what else are they lying about?
Right. So how was it to realize that the people who claimed to have the truth were using bad arguments to protect the truth?
Well, at first, it there honestly there was a bit of a very religious feeling, a high and mighty, like, I've got to tell these people. This is terrible. This is terrible.
Right.
Everybody's been lied to. My parents thought they were doing the right thing by me, and they did. I am not here to knock my parents. I just want to make that clear. They did the
Yeah.
right thing by me, as I'm sure yours did too. We're not
Right.
going there because they were
Well, yeah,
taught the
they
same
they
thing.
loved us. Yeah, they loved us. They
Right.
just wanted to save us from hell.
Right. So I'm on the gospel mission to tell the world, hey, this isn't right. I quickly learned nobody wants to talk about this.
No.
They'll insult you. They'll think you're demon possessed. In fact, I just kind of came to a realization very recently. I maybe almost in kind of like the acceptance phase of things. I think unless someone is actually seeking, it could possibly be, or maybe it even just is ethically immoral to try to get them to question. And
Yeah.
I say so because when I questioned, that fear is very horrible. Do I want someone else to go through that when they might not be ready? They might not be strong enough. They might need to believe that they're going to see their grandmother again in heaven.
Right.
Who am I? Who
Yeah.
am I to trample on where they're at in life? And so that's why I try to like I put that on my YouTube, but I didn't announce it to everybody. Hey, everybody go check this out. If somebody stumbles upon it, great. I don't want
Yeah.
to go out and be the same thing as a religious person evangelizing. And when you try to, you're poking people in the fear of death. You're poking people in their comforting lies that they don't want to let go of for their reasons.
Right.
And I think it's mean and cruel for us to antagonize Christians with, oh yeah, well, it it crosses a line into cruelty, I think.
Yeah. Because a lot of us, like you and I, we were part of that too. We were just as indoctrinated and everything as they were. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm the same as you. I don't try to trash anybody or anything like that, but I do make fun of the absurdities, and especially people who know
Yes.
better, like these Christian
Yes.
apologists. They do all these debates with all these different people. They hear the truth constantly. Their lies are exposed, and the things they say are debunked over and over and over again. But still, the next week they'll show up in another debate and make all the same arguments again. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's all about the
Mm-hmm.
money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like at a point, apologetics, toy boat. Okay, apologetics functions less as a search for truth and more as just a defense mechanism against doubt. At
Well
least
said.
that's the way I see it. Yeah.
Well said.
Um, and you said also something that I think will hit a lot of people. You said, and you said this a while ago, if you had the truth, why lie? And I know that had to be one of the hardest realizations of the whole process. It was for me, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
it was the same way. What caused
Yeah.
me to deconvert and deconstruct and all that? Intense, deep Bible study. I wanted to get closer to God. I wanted to know everything there was about it. I studied
Yeah.
archaeology and history and culture. And that is what finally showed me this isn't right. This isn't lining up here, you know.
Yeah.
And so I,
Can
I
I
can
ask
only
you a
imagine
question?
that. No, absolutely not. No, yeah, you can.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna force one on you then.
No, you can. Go ahead.
Did you have a phase where you tried to apologize to the people that you led to the Lord back in the day? Did you ever try to do that?
I didn't. I did think about it a lot, and I thought, should I do that? But the thing was, when I announced, because before I deconstructed, I was a minister. I was in ministry from the time I was 16 until I left at 44,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, and so, but yeah, I thought about that a lot. How many people have I, but in my defense at the time, I believed I was saving their souls. I believed in
Hmm.
what I was doing, you
Oh,
know.
yeah. I
But
used to
when I
grieve
did,
over my friends.
oh yeah, me too. I
Oh,
would
yeah.
spend time in prayer, sometimes all night long, just weeping over my friends and family, that they would come to know Jesus. And I'm
Yes.
thinking, man, I could have used that sleep. Look at
I
these
get it
bags
slept.
under my eyes. It's horrible. But yeah, but
Uh-huh.
but no, when
Uh-huh.
when I first announced that I had deconstructed, that I no longer believed in God or held to any religion, I had people who their kids used to be in my youth group or my youth choir, or they used to be in a Bible study that I taught or whatever, people that I'd led to God, who really they threatened me. One guy wanted to come over and whip my ass, because I didn't believe in his God anymore. And he's like, "You led me
Wow.
to this." And I said, "Well, are you sorry? Do you not want to be a Christian?" He said, "No, I want to be a Christian." He said, "But I don't want you telling me that everything you taught me you now think is a lie." And it got
Wow.
pretty intense there for
Yeah.
a little bit. But so
I
I
tried it with
think
a
that's
couple
why.
people.
Yeah.
They felt bad for me
Mhm.
and they couldn't
Mhm.
believe I would have. Yeah. And so I thought, yeah, it's not a good idea.
Well, what gets me is like some of the people that I did lead to Jesus, people in my own family, have now cut ties with me. And I was like, when you weren't a believer, I still loved you and was there for you. I never cut ties with you because of that. I just prayed for you and, you know, tried to talk to you.
Wow.
But now that it's
Wow.
reversed, they're just going to, be done with me, not have anything to do with me. I just don't understand that. It'd be
Yeah.
one thing if there had been a problem and we were fighting about something, but there wasn't anything like that. You know.
I think I kind of it just recently, I think I am starting to understand that. And this is a horrible thing to say, but I think that people's fear of their own death, fear of nihilism, fear of not having that security blanket after death is so huge.
Yeah.
I truly believe they prefer war and martyrdom for their faith than to let go of those things and have peace. I truly think that that is the mindset. I I think we're hardwired on an evolutionary level to need the things religion provides, that stability, that sense of community. Um, and it's hard for people to give these things up. It
Yeah.
threatens something deep in the primal part of our brains. You're not safe when you're not a part of the group anymore. In fact, superstition was useful back in the day. You have to believe there's always a bear in the bushes every time it rustles, or you might be the one that dies. And now we don't need that anymore, but it's still a part of our brains.
Right.
And I don't think religion is leaving the human population anytime soon. And I sadly think people would rather have things like are going on today with Iran than they would face down their own fears. I could be
Yeah.
wrong. This is just me thinking.
No,
I
I
might
agree
change
with
my
you
mind
on that.
next week.
And it's like you said earlier. One of the hardest things for me to give up was that hope that one day, I would see my parents again and my sister who passed away.
Yeah.
Be able to see all them again. My grandparents, whoever. And when I finally realized that wasn't the truth, that broke me.
Yep.
I left my faith. I don't know about you, but I left my faith kicking and screaming. I didn't want to lose my faith. I was happy with what I believed and what I was doing. But once I saw the truth, I just couldn't look away.
Yeah.
It's like in The Wizard of Oz. Once you look behind that curtain, there's no
It is.
unseeing
It
that.
is true.
Yeah.
It is true. You can't go back to being blind again. You
Mm-hmm.
can't. You can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fred said something here. The church lies to maintain population, power, and wealth. Some will do anything for that little sense of superiority. What do you think of that?
I think that it seems like authority over people almost acts like a drug on the brain. That's just
Mm-hmm.
my observation. But you can see it in people that have give them a little power and it all goes to their head. I think it's actually kind of a drug for people to
Oh,
lord it
yeah.
over others.
Yeah. And I know, how traumatizing this was for you. Like I said, I watched your video more than once because your story just really, really touched me. And I want to encourage everybody.
Thank
And
you.
there is a link to your channel in the description of this video. Please go over to Mary's channel, like and subscribe, and look for that video. It's what was it? Was it called
It'd be the
Restore?
last two on there because,
Yeah,
like
the
I
last
said, my
two.
videos are supposed to be about my travels, and I'm off the road right now. So,
Right. So the last two videos that she's uploaded, check those out and hear her story completely because it is powerful, very powerful.
thank you.
But you shared that a series of traumatic events in your life pushed you into a crisis where your beliefs no longer seem capable of helping you cope. I wrote this down because I want to get it all right. Without going anywhere you don't want to go, how much did trauma expose those cracks that had already been there? Like I said, you don't talk about anything that you're not comfortable talking about. I just
Oh,
mainly
that's
want to know,
fine.
how did the
Okay.
trauma expose these cracks that had already been there?
Didn't I was only 30
Didn't?
when that happened, and I didn't
Wow.
deconvert until into my 40s. It didn't. And the
Wow.
person that committed the crime against my family was protected in the church, protected by the church. I just switched churches and started playing the piano over at the Nazarene church. It did not affect my faith at all.
Wow.
Isn't that sad?
That is,
Isn't that
yeah.
sad? So I
And
was
I probably would
drinking
have been
like
the
that.
same way. Yeah.
I was
Mm-hmm.
drinking like that as a Christian. Can you imagine the guilt? No wonder I couldn't put it down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And you talked about that, your addiction and your collapse and everything. Did deconstruction at first feel like the floor was like you were losing your floor beneath you, or did it feel like you were seeing the floor for the first time?
A little of both.
A little of
I'd say a
both.
little of both.
Yeah.
I was lucky at the time to have a good friend who was deconstructing at the same time. And I know I said in the video, I look back, I don't know if I'd have had the courage to go through that on my own. Just having
Mm.
one other person raised in the church and able to talk about it, um, it was so helpful because we are a rare breed in this world. And it's hard to find people that have, I think it is, that have been through this to talk about your experiences and explore together.
Yeah. What would you say to someone right now who was like us, probably spent most of their life in the church and they're starting to come out of it, their own deconstruction process? What kind of advice would you offer?
Hmm. That voice that comes up inside you and screams is indoctrinated fear. Try to keep going. Try to keep looking into things. Try to keep questioning. I would recommend epistemology, where you question your own self to get to the heart of why you believe what you believe. Can you prove this to yourself before proving it to someone else? That fear, that voice, over time, it will be quiet. The nightmares about hell, they will go away. Time, time, time. Keep going. Here's the thing though. I want to say it's worth it. I say it's worth it. But there's a huge cost. Now there's a wall between me and loved ones that
Hmm.
is impenetrable now. When you step out of these beliefs, if you're actively involved in a church, at the time you step out, thankfully I wasn't, you lose your whole community.
Mm.
No human wants mean comments, but you will get mean comments from those people. The people you thought loved you will stop being your friend. They will look at you as the second video I did, I named all those things, the categories that the Christians put us in when we walk away. You're demon possessed. You just want to sin. You can't tell the difference between people in church hurting you and church doctrine. Those reasons. And those things hurt when someone is saying them to you. They really hurt.
Yeah.
You really got to count the cost. It's an isolating feeling in society, I think, to not be a part of the big in group. And the
Yeah.
one in America, the big in group is American Christianity. I call it American Christianity.
Right. Well, why do you think that is such a big deal to people, that you believe what they believe?
To be part of the group, to satisfy those tribal needs that we have hardwired into us for love, for safety, for family, for protection, for stability.
Do
I
you
think
think
that's
that,
why.
yeah. Well, do you think that when people like us do deconstruct, that it threatens other Christians?
I think just that we exist. If I don't say anything about anything, but if someone says to someone before I meet them, "Oh, I heard she's an atheist,"
Right.
we're automatically kind of poisoned. But I think, okay, I'll bet you experience this too. I would not be a bit surprised. When you deconvert, none of the Christians at the time that know you are curious at all how you came to your conclusions. They
Right.
never ask. That's very telling.
Yeah.
Very, very telling.
And
They
it
don't
makes
want
you
to hear it.
right. And it makes you
Mm-hmm.
wonder, like maybe they're having their own doubts, and they see someone like us leave that they thought were so faithful, had been in the church for so long, whatever. It's like, is there, maybe they feel like, you know, they may be next. You know, if if they talk
Yeah.
too much to us or something, I don't know.
We
Um,
invoke fear just by existing.
yeah,
But I get it. I get it. I used to feel the same fear. Oh, he's an atheist. What? I would immediately. That's the well was poisoned. The well was poisoned, and there was no way I could
definitely.
see that person, no matter how nice they were. It didn't matter. I had such cognitive dissonance. Don't matter if they're. In fact, in the Baptist church, the Catholics aren't saved, and the Pope's going to hell. I mean, so
Right?
I was about to say
Yeah.
I could have even been the Pope, but I guess he's going to hell too. You know.
And that's why, Christian nationalism would never work, because it's like not one Christian has the same
No,
interpretation of the
they
Bible or
can't.
anything as the other groups.
Right,
They all,
right.
that's why there's, so many denominations, in the world, is because they can't agree on even the basic biblical doctrine. But
Couldn't an omnipotent God been a little clearer?
well, the thing is, Jesus in Gethsemane, his last prayer that is recorded, he prays for his disciples to be united, to be one. And says not only
Oh, you're
them, but
right.
everyone who will ever, come to me because of them, because of their story, and it didn't happen. God didn't answer Jesus' prayer. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if anyone out there in the chat has a question for Mary, go ahead and put that in the chat, and I'll look at it in just a minute, and I'll ask her your questions there. But before we do, I have to ask something, because your lifestyle makes such an interesting contrast to rigid religious life. So has living on the road helped you reclaim freedom in a way like you never could with the church?
Um, I think it's more helped me learn just about myself, and growth. I think I kind of feel like learning happens best outside of your comfort zone. You got to be a little outside your comfort zone, and you're way outside of your comfort zone if you start a bike tour. I go down and I start in Florida, for instance. When I'm down there, there's no immediate rescue. Like, hey, somebody help bring me water. Somebody help. You got to survive on your own wits. It is
Mm,
not a easy lifestyle. It's way easier to pay rent and live in a house and drive a car. Oh, way easier. I don't have a toilet. I don't have a shower. I got to get up and get my water. And if I can't find it, I got to filter it out of a creek. I got to take baths in a lake. It's not an
mm,
easy lifestyle, but when you step outside of these comforts, I'm just hungry for learning. I'm hungry and thirsty for experiences. And I go through crazy, scary stuff. But I know when I come out on the other side, I'm going to look back and, whoa, what an amazing story to tell. And or
yeah.
wow, I lived through that. I did that. Wow. Wow, I'm capable.
Mm, yeah.
Does that answer your
Let's
question?
see. Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. Fred had said something earlier. What did he say? He said, I have no problem if they start the conversation. I have no need to push my atheism on others, but if they push, I push back. And I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of the same way. I'm not
I
out trying
agree.
to deconvert people or anything like that. I just
But if you're going to get
I think I have
nasty
the
to
right.
me,
Yeah, exactly.
right,
And one of
right.
the things I hate the most is when a Christian tries to tell me, well, if you fell away, then you were never really a Christian to begin with.
Yes.
And I'm like, but
Yes.
I bore fruit. I led hundreds
Mm-hmm.
of people to Jesus, when I was a Christian, from the time I became a Christian until the time I walked away, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that
Mm-hmm.
to pat myself on the back or toot my own horn or anything, but
Right.
it's just how it was. That was part of what I learned a Christian was a Christian shares the gospel, you know.
Yep.
Um, but let's see. Were there any other questions that I missed here? Oh, and Judy and Fred both said we were great on the time. It's 10:31 in Perth, Western Australia, according to Fred. But later than that now, but and it's after 12, almost 1 now in Queensland, Australia. So no worries, we're all good.
Awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for watching. I'm glad you remembered.
Yeah. Fred said, I never was, but it affected my family, so I am where I am. Yeah. He said he was never, he went to church a few times, I think he said, when he was a kid, just didn't take, he didn't like it, and his parents never forced him to go back. So he didn't have the kind of upbringing that we did, where he was
Yeah.
forced
And it
to
doesn't
go or
affect
whatever.
everybody the same way.
Right.
I see people, and my own sister, she could just kind of take it or leave it. It doesn't bother her. It just doesn't seem like she took all this stuff to heart. And I think she kind of wonders why I struggle with it so much. And that's fine, just different temperaments, It doesn't
Right.
affect everybody the same way.
Yeah. Well, Fred says it's been a pleasure, and I have to completely echo that. I loved having you on. I loved hearing your story. Once again, if you haven't already, go over to Mary's channel, Barker Bike Pirate. There's a link in the description. Click on that. Go over, do your like, your subscribe, all that. Hit the notification bell, all that stuff, and just watch some of these great stories that she shares. She had an experience with a raccoon. I think will just crack you up.
Oh,
So.
oh yeah, in Washington.
Yeah. So go check her out over there, and I'm telling you, you will not regret it. Mary, thank you so much for being on the program today.
Thank you.
I wanted to just say it was just a pleasure. It was worth the wait to have you on. Let's see. There's yeah. Okay, I thought I saw something else. But yeah, so I'm going to just tell everybody, remember, you don't have to be religious to do the right thing. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and stay mighty. And Mary, I want to give you the last word, so you just close us out however you want to. Just say whatever you feel. Go ahead.
I think maybe I'll reiterate the whole compassion thing.
Okay.
Not everybody is ready, and most people may never be ready to question their faith. And just remember, when engaging with a Christian, they've been taught to circumvent their own intellect. So you're not engaging with their intellect. You're engaging with their complex coping skills to help them with the deep-seated fears that all humans face just because we're alive. It's not them, it's their fear. And I think if we think it that way, because we're human and we all have fears, that allows a bridge for empathy. And so, like Fred said, people are being nasty. Yeah, it's good to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how mad sometimes people make me, I don't want to antagonize. I want to look at people with compassion. They believe those things for a reason that serves them. And I believe the things I believe for reasons that serve me. And it's okay. Even if both sides can't see it's okay, I can see it's okay. And that's what matters to me as I go through the world.
All right. Well, thank you so much again. And I'm going to play the closing bumper. And could you hang out for just a minute so I can talk to you off the air for just a second?
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
You just watched the Mighty Philbert Show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share it now with someone that you know, and I'll be your friend for life. Bye, everybody, and stay mighty.
This is an Okie Doke production.